the son of AIDS activist Mary Fisher. Max has traveled the world, and he has been doing this to inform and educate people about HIV and AIDS. In the spring of 2010, Max started his company, Fish Soup Films. It's located up in beautiful Traverse City, which I just found out today is covered in snow. My family's not happy about it up there. Max is joined this evening with his Fish Soup Film colleagues, his fiancée Susan, and many friends, family members, and supporters. Max is furthering his involvement in educating not only our community, but communities across the world about HIV and AIDS with an upcoming documentary which will encourage prevention, treatment, and public awareness across the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our World AIDS Day Detroit host and Honorary Committee Chair, Max Fisher.
Hey everybody. Thank you very much, Hank. I appreciate that kind introduction a lot. I am both honored and pleased to be here this evening. Honored because I've chosen AIDS advocacy not only as my passion, but also as an important part of my career. And pleased because this event allows me to say again that HIV and AIDS is neither dead nor gone. It is alive, vibrant, and very much with us across America today. My roots were planted here in Detroit, first by my grandparents, Max and Marjorie Fisher. Their imprint could be found throughout the greater Detroit area as a result of their investments, their philanthropy, and their family. One of their daughters, my mother, was a Detroit television producer more than 30 years ago, and I have countless cousins and other relatives who could be found in offices and schools and neighborhoods in this community. Detroit matters to me, Michigan matters to me, and the cause of HIV and AIDS matters to me. I was a preschooler when my mother told the world, first through an article in the Detroit Free Press, and then on ABC television, but most famously through her speech at the 1992 National Republican Convention, that she was among the pilgrims on the road to AIDS. From that moment on, my life was publicly defined by AIDS. A year after my mother's speech in Houston, our family gathered for a Father's Day in Massachusetts, not to congratulate my father, but to bury him. From that day I spent at my father's gravesite, my life was privately defined by AIDS. I'm among the very fortunate members of the second generation within the American AIDS community. I could have easily been born with the virus, and I was not. Our family was vigilant to protect my brother and me from the worst of stigma and hatred that some groups hurl at the AIDS community. Most of all, I'm fortunate to have been raised in a family that believes in advocacy. I was taught to speak out, to care, for those less capable of caring for themselves, to oppose injustice and prejudice. AIDS was never a secret in my life, and it was always a cause. So I've come to the role of the AIDS advocate as a member of my family of advocates, for which I am grateful. I carry three goals in my career as an advocate and an activist filmmaker. First, I want to reach all generations with the evidence that this epidemic has not ended, and we are all responsible to respond. Second, I want to demonstrate, especially through stories I report, that this epidemic will not be conquered without a fight. And third, I want us all to know that although discouragement and frustration may attend the fight, we are, each of us individually, all of us together, capable of making a difference. I'm especially eager to engage those who, like me, are under 30, who were raised with a cell phone in one hand and a keyboard under the other. Between 1981, when what the New York Times reported an outbreak of gay cancer, in 1996, AIDS killed Americans by hundreds of thousands, and global citizens by the millions. The year my father died in 1993, Broadway stages were going dark to honor the dying. The Names Project memorial quilt had grown so large it could only be displayed in portions. And the dying was mounting. It was not until the late 1990s that the famed antiretroviral drugs were introduced, which have prolonged lives for those who can afford them, gain access to them, and tolerate them. By virtue of these drugs, my mother is alive today. And by virtue of the accident of timing, my father's dead. Some of those who are keeping alive the memory of the dying lived through the carnage. Magic Johnson, Jeannie White, Larry Kramer, and my mother. But some of us have come to the cause younger and later. What we bring to what we bring is energy and passion of youth, and commitment never to repeat the steps that led us to the hundreds of thousands of American graves. AIDS has not left America. It has merely gone underground. It is at home today in every vulnerable community, whether vulnerability is fostered by poverty, by addiction, by immigration, or by ignorance. It is rising again among the youngest members of the gay community, who falsely believe that life is unchanged by a positive diagnosis, that all one does if it's infected is to pop a pill and the day goes on. It is up to us, the youngest generation, to keep alive America's memory, and to call for life-protecting education in our schools, our homes, and our congregations. It is up to us to step forward when those who have fought the fight before us grow weary and step down. I am grateful to be here this evening among a company of the committed, including many from my generation. Let us learn to support one another, so we cannot be divided. Let us learn to laugh at ourselves, so that humor, rather than grieving, gives us hope. And let us give ourselves for the sake of others. There is, I think, no higher calling in which we can aspire. My thanks to you for all that you've done and continue to do to fight the good fight here in Detroit and Michigan. Do not grow weary. The goal is within sight. Thank you.
You know what I love about Max? He's a young guy who's making a big difference. And what's even better is he's a cool Detroiter who's making a big difference. So props to Max. Don't you just love it when Detroiters kick butt? I love it. It's great. Before we introduce our incredible